各位你好，咁喺2018年1月5號，咁就美國駐聯合國嘅代表咧就召開咗一次啦，係緊急嘅安理會會議。咁就係根據咧聯合國嗰個規條第24項嘅。咁我而家呢度咧就啱好就有英國嘅代表將個規條讀咗出嚟，咁大家聽一聽先。
Through Article 34 of the UN Charter, and I quote, to investigate any dispute or any situation which might lead to international friction or give rise to a dispute, in order to determine whether the continuance of the dispute or situation is likely to endanger the maintenance of international peace and security.
大家可以留意到咧，個規條入邊咧就講明就係聯合國安理會應該係處理咩？係處理會影響到國際安全環境嘅會議題嘅。咁至於伊朗入邊嗰個嘅抗議是否會引發成為一個國際安全問題咧？咁你聽聽其他個代表各個講法啦。
That we must commit to fully upholding the nuclear agreement with Iran, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, and we must also commit to fully promoting its implementation to the letter. Attempts at external meddling and preventing said external meddling is how we can gauge our attempts at stabilizing said countries. Stability in said countries will stand or fall by preventing said external meddling.
咁法國代表咧就着重講就話，國際社會應該咧就係嚴格遵守咧喺2014年大家簽咗嗰個嘅Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action.
President, the position of the plurinational state of Bolivia was made abundantly clear by President Evo Morales, who condemned in the strongest possible terms any threat to interfere in or meddle in the internal affairs that would be an affront to the rights and dignity of the people and government of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We are convinced that, as history has proven time and again, unilateral action, political interventionism, and regime change only ever lead to devastating humanitarian, social, and economic consequences. And we are seeing the repercussions of that still today, including in countries which are before the Security Council. On this particular occasion, we echo what has been said repeatedly in the past by the non-aligned movement, which has time and again reiterated its commitment to respecting the sovereignty, the national unity, and the territorial integrity of states, as well as to upholding the sovereign equality of states, calling for the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of state, as well as the NAM's position on the peaceful solution of disputes and abstaining from the use or threat of use of force. Finally, as a state, Bolivia is convinced that any internal conflict, of whichever state or any state around the world, must be resolved in the framework of that country's own practices and in line with its own sovereign principles, without any external meddling or interference. Thank you very much, President.
Bolivia 嘅代表咧就強調指出咧就係國際社會唔應該咧係干擾人家嘅內政。
There have been several cases of demonstrations and popular movements that were peaceful at first, but that became violent, and which led to the loss of lives and damage to infrastructure, and even led to external and foreign interference and undermined the stability of the region. Some of these events have led to disastrous results, and the international community is still trying to draw lessons from these events. We hope that this will not happen in Iran or in any other state.
Kuwait 嗰個代表指出咧，就係過去咧有時有啲抗議事件發生，咁慢慢個抗議事件日本係安全又係和平嘅，咁變成就有暴力，咁跟住咧就引致咧國際社會插手啦，插手之後大家見到個後果咧就係入侵嗰啲國家啦，引致咧就喺中東地區非常之不穩定，咁呢個現實而家今日仲見嘅。
Mr. President, the United Kingdom remains fully committed to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. It is one of the international community's greatest successes in recent memory. We welcome Iran's compliance with its nuclear commitments. we encourage all member states to uphold their commitments so the Iranian people see the tangible benefits of this deal.
英國嘅代表咧就翻返轉去講嗰個Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action， 就話咧各方應該就嚴重執行，尤其是咧就係當伊朗本身咧已經盡咗佢自己嗰部分義務之外咧，其他國家對佢嗰個禁即係 sanctions 啲禁運之類咧應該解除。咁但係好可惜咧，我哋知道咧喺現實上咧，除美國不獨止冇解除到啊，就其實係增加咗。咁所以呢個係一個違反國際法律嘅國際條約嘅行為嚟㗎。
We do, however, have our reservations on the format and timing of this meeting. Mr. President, human rights violations in Iran must be separated from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Sweden and the European Union are very clear on our full support for the agreement.
Sweden 嘅代表就指出咧，今次召開呢個會議嗰個時間係唔合適嘅、唔恰當，因為呢個唔係一個國際安全問題嘅議題。咁另外咧，佢亦都係再重申咧，係要各國咧遵守個Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action.
Equatorial Guinea, therefore, believes that frank and inclusive dialogue is the only way in which the current situation in Iran can be resolved. And in that understanding, we believe that the Iranians themselves should be capable of and entrusted with finding solutions to their own problems as brothers and sisters, making use of their democratically elected legitimate institutions with scrupulous respect for the rule of law.
Equatorial Guinea 咁啊，另外一個非洲國家啦，亦都指出咧，就係佢哋相信咧，伊朗嘅人民咧係有能力同埋自信心同智慧咧，係解決自己嘅問題。咁亦都意思就係各嘅社會唔應該干預人家嘅內政。
Mr. President, according to the UN Charter, the Council's primary responsibility is maintaining international peace and security. Therefore, the Security Council should not discuss the internal affairs of any country, nor is it the venue for discussing the human rights issue of any country. China takes note of the recent domestic developments of Iran. China hopes and trusts that with the efforts of the Iranian government and people, Iran will remain stable and achieve development. The Iranian situation does not pose any threat on international peace or security, nor is it on the agenda of the security.
中國嘅代表係指出咧，其實咧一個國家入邊嘅人權問題係唔應該去到聯合國國安議會上面嚟討論，因為呢樣嘢唔會影響咧嗰個國際嘅安全嗰個問題。咁啊，佢亦都重申咧，係呢個係唔適當嘅場合咧，係講咁嘅問題。
Mr. President, today we're witnessing once again how the United States is abusing the platform of the Security Council. Why is the United States, a permanent member of the Security Council and one of the authors of the UN Charter, undermining the authority of the Security Council as the main body which is responsible for maintaining international peace and security? I mean, I think it is obvious for everyone that the topic chosen today does not fall within the prerogatives established by the UN Charter for this Security Council. And the references we heard today to Article 34 of the UN Charter as applicable to this situation are completely inappropriate. This should be obvious to anyone who will take the time to read Article 34 of the Charter once again. We have often drawn attention to the fact that it is unacceptable to use bogus pretexts to include in the agenda purely internal political issues. Why has the United States chosen to do this today when the domestic situation in Iran has become normalized? And by the way, we should thank Washington for this because to a large extent it's thanks to its dynamic words of encouragement and messages to the Iranian people that we witnessed a consolidation of the Iranian society, and they were united by anti-American feelings. We shouldn't look far into history to offer many examples of what short-sighted moves accompanied with interference in internal affairs lead to. or attempts to replace undesirable regimes or impose recipes of democracy. Unfortunately, due to various violations and neglect of the founding principles of the Charter, such as independence and sovereign equality of states, non-interference in internal affairs, peaceful resolution of disputes. Because of that, the situation in many countries of the Middle East that were stable until recently has become horrible. The occupation of Iraq under openly false pretexts, which is still being heavily felt by the people of this country. The gross manipulation of the mandate of the Security Council that led to chaos and destruction in Libya. The methodological incitement and fanning the flames of internecine warfare in Syria and flirting with terrorists. The war in Yemen, all these open wounds will continue to remind us of the destructiveness of geopolitical engineering and the attempts to determine the fates of other states and nations. However, people prefer not to mention this, not to remember this, and when we remind them of this, they pretend that it doesn't concern them. Sometimes we're asked why we're wary about the concept of the prevention of violent extremism. Well, the approach of the American delegation to what is taking place in Iran is an excellent example to illustrate the substance of our concerns. The source of the problem is declared to be suppression of peaceful protests, the cruelty and undemocratic nature of the regime, and there's a parallel drawn to the events in Syria in 2011. A threat to international peace and security is declared. Thus, the need for external interference is justified in the affairs of Iran. This is precisely the kind of approach that is involved in the notion that is being promoted by the United States of violent extremism. And yet, it is precisely incitement from outside and calls on so-called changes could lead to radicalization and violence, whether it's in Iran or any other country. Mr. President, the real reason for convening today's meeting is not an attempt to protect human rights or promote the interests of the Iranian people, but rather as a veiled attempt to use the current moment to continue to undermine the joint program, the joint plan of action, joint comprehensive plan of action. Similar assessments of the situation were expressed in Berlin and in Paris just yesterday. We consider it unacceptable to intentionally undermine the support of the international community for the JCPOA, which is the main achievement in nuclear non-proliferation over the past few years and in international efforts to ensure international and regional security, especially in a situation where the IAEA has continually confirmed full compliance by Iran with its obligations. Instead of that, the United States has continued to introduce unilateral restrictions that are in breach of international law. And we keep wondering, do you have any other means, diplomatic means, other than sanctions at your disposal? Instead of trying to involve the Security Council in internal affairs and interference in internal affairs, the Council should actually support useful initiatives in establishing regional dialogue on security issues. In the framework of that dialogue, we can find solutions to many issues and concerns.
蘇聯代表呢兩個場啦，佢差唔多就係大力咁樣就鬧美國，咁啊話美國咧就係作為咧聯合國個草擬人之一，竟然咧將聯合國安議會本身個權力咧係嚟到即係undermine 係破壞咗呢個安議會嗰個信用同埋權力。原因點解咧？你唔應該攞呢個問題咧上嚟咧喺度講。咁佢都指出咧係喺好多唔同嘅場合之中咧，美國一路咧干擾人哋嘅內政，咁引致咧就非常之差嘅後果。我哋見到喺中東各個問題而家就係喺度。咁啊 呢個之後咧，其實咧就係伊朗個代表咧，亦都有一段講話，咁嗰段講話都好長，咁我就唔喺呢度黐落去啦。咁大約咧，伊朗個講話就話咧，你睇下你美國咁你嗰時喺入干擾我哋內政，將我哋個民主選出嚟嘅總統推翻咗，咁又有咧就射低我哋嘅民航機，咪殺咗200幾人。咁另外你又喺到處搞三搞四，至於你自己本身國內發生嗰啲暴力嘅示威，咁你啲警察殺死啲市民之類，咁又唔見你攞上嚟講咁樣，咁就指出咧就美國係 hypocritic， 即係偽善。咁呢段好長啦，咁我會喺另外一個視頻將佢 cut 落嚟俾大家睇。咁而家呢個就係喺2018年1月5號一個緊急聯合國安理會嘅會議嘅 summary 啦嚇，個敘述啦，咁希望大家可以了解下國際嘅情況。